The new generation Nissan Pathfinder. This is the 5th generation. The Pathfinder has been in the market for over 35 years. And Nissan finally decided to redesign, give it more space, make it look a ton better than the previous generation, and most importantly, it is very competitive when it comes to pricing. In this video, I'm going to talk about the new Pathfinder, compare it to other vehicles, take it for a test drive and show you everything you need to know about the new Nissan Pathfinder. I'm also taking this off-road. Nissan has prepared a specific area. We're going to take it off-road, see how this thing handles because it has new driving modes, and most importantly, it has a new transmission. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for a new transmission in the Nissan lineup, and this is the newest one. Let's talk first about the design, the exterior. I have to say, unlike the competitors, Nissan has done a fantastic job. My favorite part about this design is the rear end. That is bold. I love those bold letters across that say Pathfinder. It has luxury in it as well, a little bit of a luxury touch in the front. But my favorite part about this vehicle is actually the rear end, hence why the thumbnail had the rear end view. Now some of you will be asking, well, Sam, tell us, why is this thing a Kia Telluride killer or Punisher, whatever you want to call it? And I'm going to tell you why this is going to be very, very competitive in the market with current models. A few models that this vehicle competes. The American will be the Ford Explorer, then you have the Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade, and of course the Toyota Highlander. So they all compete for the market, since now the three-row SUV market is getting bigger and bigger, and the options out there are quite a lot. Before it used to be pretty limited, but now we do have. And how does this compete with the rest of the vehicles that are offered out there by competitors? Well, first of all, as I said, that is subjective. My preference is that this thing looks a ton better than the competitors. The next one, the second in lineup, would be the Kia Telluride, which again is very popular, and that's where we're going to do a slight comparison with this and the Telluride. But I will also do a full comparison between the Pathfinder and the 2022 Kia Telluride in the coming weeks, so please don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's talk about the exterior. First of all, beautiful design. Tons of tech features on the outside. Hands-free handle. You just basically put your hand inside the door handle. You'll open, keyless entry all the way around. You have hands-free tailgate. You have, of course, a key fob with remote start. And most importantly, for the tailgate, you can open it through the key fob. And you do have the hands-free where you just swing your foot under and it will open. Under the hood, this makes 284 brake horsepower. It is powered by a V6 3.5 liter. It uses a 9-speed automatic transmission. The CVT is out. And guess what? Unlike the competitors, this thing can tow up to 6,000 pounds. Yes, 6,000 pounds. The Ford Explorer up to 5,400, I believe. Then you have the Kia Telluride about 5,000. So this thing's about 1,000 pounds more in terms of towing capacity compared to other vehicles in the market. So quite impressive. And most importantly, the engine is quite responsive, but we'll talk about that once I take it for a test drive. Let's move on to the rear end. Most importantly, as I said, my favorite part is right here. The letters, Pathfinder, just do a fantastic job. This is the Platinum 4-wheel drive. It is a 4-wheel drive vehicle, not an all-wheel drive. And most importantly, you got a hands-free tailgate. Make sure you have your key in your pocket with you, and then just kind of like swing a little bit the foot underneath, and that's it. I tried to do a kick and that's why it didn't work. The sensor is somewhere within this area. Most importantly, look at this. I can easily walk through without actually having any problem because there's good ground clearance, and you can actually push it more. Most importantly, you can adjust it with the button located over here. You adjust to a certain place, hold it, and it will set it up so next time it opens to the same level. We have tons of space here. The vehicle right now, it's actually very similar to the ongoing generation, but in the back they have made sure that it give you a lot of space. So for example, you have the cover here, which kind of stands on its own, which is good. You don't have to hold it, and most importantly, you have more space underneath now. Which you can fold the seats as well. Apparently, Nissan says that this can fit a 4-foot plywood all the way across. So it is wide 4 foot. You can just 4x8, I believe. The door apparently will stay a little bit open, but the goal is to make sure that it fits right in, because they've made sure that it's actually wide. And that's why it makes this, and that's what makes this very competitive. They've done a great job in terms of space. It does give similar to the competitors, but again, you have the option to fold the third row. Okay, into the second row, where is the most important part. First thing you need to know, in terms of the seating capacity, can sit up to 8 people. So you have the option to not get the captain chairs, which with the Platinum package that we have today, it does have. You can remove the center console. If you want to use it, it's pretty easy. You have this thing in the front and then just pull it. We have a rear climate unit, heated seats with captain chairs, and most importantly, you have 3 more seats in the back. Now, in terms of space, I'm 6'2". I feel comfortable in the second row and just a bit tight in the third row, but you can sit comfortably. Not sure if you could do that for a long trip, but I'll say if you want it for a short trip, would be a good use of it. Sure, most of you will use it for your kids, or maybe if you have any family member that is not 6'2" like myself. But other than that, it's nice, and you do have USB ports on both sides to charge your phone. Very smart. And in here we have USB-C and a USB, and most importantly, you have 120 volts of power outlet. In terms of the seats, they can be adjusted back and forth. You have a lever located into the front, and the recliner can be adjusted as well. This part here, on top of it, it does have 2 buttons, one in the back of the seat for the passenger. If you want to come out, the person sitting in the front of you doesn't have to bother with it. Just press the button and it will fold all the way through. Same thing with the button located onto the side. You press that and automatically it moves, so it gives space for the passenger into the third row. On top of that, we have the sunshades per each door on each side. But here's one thing I noticed with this. The window doesn't close all the way down. Not sure why they did that. Maybe for pets, so they don't jump out of the window. Maybe for kids, that could be. But you don't get to actually roll the window all the way down. Into the front area, well, newly redesigned, very different from the outgoing model. A lot of new tech features, beautiful digital cluster, massive infotainment display as well. Don't mind the GPS, is just for me to use today. It's a pre-route made by Nissan for us to actually take this in certain places and experience it. But most importantly, what I love about it is that it is very practical. And another thing I notice is the amount of cup holders, whether it's in the second row or in the front. And we have the compartment underneath here that you can use to put more stuff. We have an armrest, massive armrest. There's like 2 cup holders in there. I usually put my phone right in here sometimes, and it does have a wireless charging pad. You can slide your phone and it has a light. Now, one thing I love about this wireless charging pad is that with my phone, it's the first time actually that I don't have to remove the case to charge it. In some cars, it doesn't charge, but in this, just slide it right in and it will turn on the orange light and you're good to go. In terms of the convenience features, what do we have? We have heated seats, ventilated seats for passenger and driver side. And most importantly, it is optional for the rear climate unit. You can control it from here. You can lock it so kids don't play around. It has built-in GPS. It doesn't have an Android Auto in terms of wireless connectivity, but does have an Apple CarPlay that you can connect through the wireless connection. Meanwhile, the Android, it's only through the actual cable. It does have 360 camera as well. The cluster is fantastic. It has a heads-up display as well. This comes with a 360 Pro Pilot Assist, which we'll talk about it once we go on a test drive. It has a steering column, which it is powered. You can adjust it. In terms of the comfort level, in my opinion, it feels perfect. Doesn't feel too high off the ground in terms of the seat. It feels positioned almost perfectly for my height. And I love that. I have it all the way to the bottom. It is powered. The same thing with the passenger. Everything else in this car is very, very similar to what you'll find in the Nissan Rogue. It shares quite a lot with that. We have the driving modes right in the center. We have 7 driving modes. And most importantly, now we have a drive-by-wire gear knob, which is located right in here. It's pretty easy. You need a bit of time to get used to it, but because I've driven the Rogue, I know how this works. We have auto hold as well, and the parking brake, which is the button located into this, which is automatic. And this has paddle shifters onto the steering wheel. Overall, it is a good atmosphere inside. Lots of cup holders around the car, which is a good thing, especially because this is a 3-row SUV and you want to have as many as possible if you have kids, to maybe put a bottle of water here and there, or food, or anything else like that. It does have space over here, which you can put your sunglasses, And there is the compartment underneath as well. I like the interior. I like what they've done with this car. It has quite a lot of features, quite a lot of tech features that are offered in the competitors. But overall, I'd say it's pretty much hitting all the dots at this point. All the points are there. It's very competitive. It's very new, and I love the interior. Let's talk about the driving experience with the Pathfinder. Well, here's a few things. The first thing I noticed once I got in, it feels pretty big on the inside. It doesn't look big on the outside, but it feels big on the inside. It feels like a big SUV. It actually feels closer to the bigger version of the Pathfinder, which the Armada kind of thing. That kind of feels like the Armada in my opinion. It is just, I don't know, it just gave me that impression. First, the second thing, taking it for a test drive, that engine is quite impressive. On top of it, the transmission is very smooth. There's a difference between this and the CVT. I noticed that right away. When you put it in sport mode, the transmission is very responsive and it wants to work for you. It keeps going, it shifts smoothly, it does everything very, very well. The comfort level for a long trip with the family, this will really surprise you. It feels comfortable. If I had to pick between this and the Rogue, I'll actually go for this. The pricing is quite impressive, what they've achieved with this vehicle. It's very competitive in the market. It offers quite a lot of tech features. We actually had it off-road as well. I took it off-road. We had this path designed specifically, water, mud, and all that. Nothing heavy, but something that most people will encounter if they go to the cottage or anything like that. So when you take your family, you'll be nice and safe and not to worry about getting stuck anywhere. You have 7 driving modes. It's a 4-wheel drive vehicle, which tend again to do very well off-road in my opinion, and it's actually been proven compared to all-wheel drive. Now, the beautiful thing about this vehicle, what I love about, is the position as a driver. You get to see it a lot in the front. Visibility is fantastic all around it. It does a great job with everything. The cluster is great. You get to customize it the way you want it. It is the big digital. If you have bought a Rogue or you have driven a Rogue, it's very much the same. The new Rogue, of course, it's a massive infotainment as well. We have a 9-inch over here. The cluster is quite impressive. It shows you a lot of details, and if you use the map, it will show you in the cluster the direction, so you can see there. So it's quite impressive in terms of that. In terms of the safety features for the road, we have the 360 pilot assist, so basically you can turn it on in here, set the cruise control. As long as it picks up both lanes on each side, it will make sure to keep you right in the center. It does a great job with lane centering. So legally, you still have to keep your hands on the wheel, otherwise you'll get a ticket, and it's not safe to do so. The vehicle is not fully autonomous, it's just there to assist you, hence why it's called a Pro Pilot Assist. In terms of the power delivery, again, for 284 horsepower, the V6 engine does a great job overall. Shockingly, it can tow up to 6,000 pounds, which to me seems pretty crazy for a small engine. It's quite impressive what it can do. Now, in terms of overall drivability, I think they have done a great job. It is comfortable, it is smooth, it's not as noisy inside. In my opinion, it's quiet. It feels quiet on the interior, and you don't hear the engine as much. In fact, around the area that we're right now, it's kind of windy when you're outside, but you don't feel it as much inside. Another Pathfinder just passed us. It's going to be available this summer in dealerships. You can put your order now. It's really nice, but some of you will say, Sam, there's something that you might not like about it. Here is the thing. It's missing the punchline. Some of you will say, well, it can't be that perfect and that impressive. Yes, there are a few things that I could complain about this car. It's missing the punchline. Every comedian knows what a punchline is. So basically it's when you start laughing because you get the joke. That's the whole punchline, and that's when you start laughing about it. This is the thing with this car. It's great. It's good overall, but it's missing a few things. Here's what it's missing. First of all, it doesn't have anything innovative. Let's take the Kia Telluride, which we're comparing it to soon. The Kia Telluride has quite a lot of tech features that make it special compared to other vehicles. So for example, the blind spot assist in the cluster, the voice with the passenger in the third row, this is missing that. It doesn't have a tech feature that sets the car apart from competitors. One of the things that sets this apart, it's only the towing capacity, which is quite impressive, especially for families. But other than that, it doesn't have anything that you could easily say, wow, that's quite impressive. That is something you have never seen before. That's the only thing that is missing. So it's like 95% there. Nonetheless, it offers so much more that make this car quite competitive. The pricing, the space, it offers 8 seats in total. So again, it does have a lot of things, positive things, but it's not there yet for me where it has that, yes, this car does everything perfect. It's just not there. But overall, compared to the older model, I love it. Compared to other vehicles, I think this is very competitive. I'm very interested to do a comparison against the Kia Telluride and maybe the Ford Explorer as well, because those are very popular 3-row SUVs. This is still a great machine. I love the look on the outside. I love the interior. Everything is where it should be. It's not too complicated. And that's it. I just think it's a great vehicle for a family. For me, it's just missing that, again, that punchline. That's it. That's something that just really sets it apart from any other vehicle out there, any competitor out there. With that in mind, I hope you enjoyed this review. I really had a lot of fun with this car and taking it off-road and normal roads as well. Quite an interesting vehicle, and I'd say very competitive right now in the market. Thanks for watching. Cheers.